Hello, I'm back, voice and all. Alright, today we're working on this. I recently pushed all of the changes that we made over the past couple weeks to the live build, and when I did that, something broke, and I've been getting reports that people aren't able to speak to any characters. Now I know we ran into something similar not long ago, and I thought I'd fixed it, but it's come back. So today, that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to leave the dam aside, and I'm just going to tackle this one bug, because that's a big one. You can't play the game if you can't talk to people. Ah, it's good to be speaking again. The last devlog was a little rough trying to type everything out. Also, on the last one, I had the idea to put on the soundtrack because, you know, there was no noise otherwise, and it felt a little weird. But I liked it so much, I think I'm going to do it again. If you find the volume distracting, I don't hear a mix with my voice and the audio. So if you find the volume a little much, just chat and let me know. Hey Flint, good to see you too. Any plans to do? Okay, now how do you pronounce that? I've never known. I always want to say Ludum Dare, but I know that's not right. I don't know, why am I asking you how to pronounce it? You can't tell me. What am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna turn down the soundtrack then. Yeah, it sounds fine on my desktop, but obviously, how's that? A little better? Um, I'm still a bit too busy with quote real projects to do the competitions. I also had to, you know, turn down the opportunity to do the VR hackathon. Um, but I am doing a bunch of small sort of side projects, totally independent, just like little. For instance, I want to make a gesture system that works in VR as part of a prototype that we're working on for the next VR game now that Felt Up Circus is out. And so a lot of my time right now is spent doing little things like that as opposed to trying to get the game, the Euclidean Felt Up Circus launched, which is what has taken all of my time for the past couple weeks. And I'm going to be dev streaming those, by the way. I want to do them live top to bottom and then post the code on my GitHub. So that should be fun. Yeah, it's Latin, but I don't know how to pronounce Latin stuff. Dare, I don't know. Whatever. I'll look it up. I'll look it up later. Okay, so I'm going to create a new game here and spawn at the university. And I'm just going to try to talk to a character, see what happens. Now, the bug reports are saying that they can barter with people, and when they bump into them, they initiate speeches. So that's the first clue that it probably has something to do with looking up conversations. Like something we did broke how conversations are looked up. Like maybe the naming convention script got changed slightly, and I forgot about it, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll also see if it's something that has to do with working with a saved game versus a new game, because it's possible that people's saved games are what's screwed up somehow. In which case, I suppose I might have to put this on hold and go back to the dam, because I'll need somebody's save game from the forum to work with. Okay, here we are. Let's get this in a nice little window here. All right, here's our first character. We should be able to speak to her. Pardon me. Good. Okay, so I can talk to her. Let me try and talk to somebody else. I suppose that means it must be a save game issue. Because more than one person has said that they aren't able to talk to anyone at the university, and I'm talking to them right now. Okay, just for the hell of it. I'm going to load up one of my old games. This isn't the way to do it. What I need is somebody else's save games. Somebody who's actually experiencing problems. I don't really trust my save games because I didn't save them under controlled circumstances. But I can at least load it and see what happens. Okay. Let's go way back here. Let's go back to game 2. We'll just see what happens. I think that's around the university. Yeah, well, wait a little longer to get back into Frontiers, because apparently there are problems. It's a new thing. There are problems. There haven't been problems up until now. But in the past couple of days. If my eyes start to water and I start to look a little zonked, it's because my sinuses are still a little clogged, and when I talk, it like vibrates and resonates and makes my eyes water a little bit. So don't worry, I'm not upset. I'm not crying. Okay, yep, here I am. No, this isn't the university. This is the Highlands. Well, that's not useful. Oh goodness, we're off to a great start here. If the next game I load doesn't put me in the right spot, I'll just hop over to the dam. We'll work on that. There's plenty more to do there. January. I'm having to go by like raw memory here. Game 8. That sounds familiar. I think that might be just before I talked to Robert Hammersmith in the basement. So this might work. Oh, by the way, I got you all good. If any of you are Kickstarter backers, I know you are, Flint. I got you all real good with that April Fool's Day joke. Ryan was convinced no one would be fooled. But I knew better. I knew if I threw in a decent piece of artwork, you know, that Frontiers 2 logo wasn't great, but it was enough to freak people out, and I knew it would. I'm also glad everyone had a. I'm also glad everyone had fun with it. Not everyone. There were 1 or 2 people who weren't pleased with me, but generally everyone had a good laugh. It's the kind of April Fool's Day joke I've been wanting to play for a long time. Oh, go away, Facebook. I hate these Facebook notifications. Okay. Alright, this is close enough. I'm at the parents' house, so I can speak to them and see what happens. Hello? Okay, well, he still has that DTS bug that's been going on forever. But I can apparently talk to her with a save game. Alright, not reproducible. I know more than one person has experienced this, but I'm gonna have to wait until I get a hold of one of their save games to pursue it. Bummer. I hate it when that happens. It'd be lovely if I could just tackle every bug right away, but, you know, the process of trying to create it on my end. I used to have the attitude of, if I know a bug exists, just try and create it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's there. I just try to create it, but eventually that it starts sapping enough time. It can take like a full day to recreate even a simple bug. It starts sapping enough time that you start doing the thing where you're like, if you can't send me a reproducible case, I can't help you. Which is an attitude I honestly despise, and I give the Unity support team crap for it all the time, or at least I used to. I'm easing up on them lately. You know, it would drive me crazy where if I couldn't send them a perfectly encapsulated, reproducible bug in its own little project, they wouldn't even bother to look at it. And I used to think that was a horrible attitude, but I've been softening up on that lately. Okay, so one thing I noticed last time when we were blowing up the dam was the river cut off at a really funky angle. And it looked bad. Now, I'm going to shut off these structures so we can see just the destroyed part. Here we are. And this should be higher? Should it be higher? I mean, it looks all right now. Let's see what happens when we shut off the destroyed part. Now see, this looks fine. Okay. So maybe that's what was happening. What I was seeing was this basically. This was at, I think it was like 8 or something. 5 maybe? Close to that. Yeah, 5. And then this is our destroyed structure. And then I was seeing this ugly cutoff where the river ended, and I wanted to fix that. But it's clear to me now looking at this chunk that what was happening was the river was not going down the way it was supposed to after the dam was blown. So I don't actually have to fix the river. I just have to fix the script that controls the height of the river after the dam explodes. And that will be in Black Lake, right? Behemoth Lake. Okay, River Avatar. So on startup, when we initialize, we check whether or not we're flooded. And then on mission variable change, which is what happens when we blow up the dam, we change the mission variable Behemoth Engineer Trigger Fuse. We should be checking Okay, here we're checking successfully blew up dam. Aha, okay. So triggering the fuse actually blows up the dam, but if you don't place the charges correctly, then the dam won't explode properly and the river won't go down. So we need to go back to our demolition controller. Spaghetti. Structure demolition controller. Here we are. Variable name on attempt and variable name on success. So we need to judge success here. We need to make sure we're judging success. If all weak points are destroyed, all weak points were destroyed. Demolishing structure on success. And then in on success, we change the mission variable successfully blew up dam to value on success, which is 1. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. So I'm going to blow up the dam. I'm going to load up my save game and just follow my debugs because I've got plenty. And we'll see where things are going wrong. Oh, and in Behemoth Lake, I'll add this debug so we know that it gets the message. Do we actually subscribe to this? Yes, we do. If flooded, subscribe to mission variable change. I'll just make sure that's happening too. I turned off all Facebook notifications. I really should too. I keep forgetting that they exist until they pop up. I don't think I am actually You're not a Kickstarter backer? Really? That's funny. Wow. I thought for sure you were a Kickstarter backer. Well, you're a Kickstarter backer in spirit. How's that? Compiling. Here we go. I'm hoping that today I get far enough in the dam so that I can set up some more explosions, because I'm not really satisfied with the ones we have. They're pretty lame. Okay, good. Glad that works for you. Okay, exploding dam charges placed. Is anyone out there? I don't know how many people are watching today. On a Wednesday. Is it a Wednesday? No, it's a Thursday. Yeah, 2 people. Flint, Steel, and whoever else is watching. Do either of you have a VR headset yet? Flint, I think I remember you saying you had a DK2, but I might be confusing you with somebody else. And when I say a headset, I'm talking about an Oculus Rift or a Vive, not one of the dev kits or a Gear VR. I just started playing a game on the Vive. It's one of the first games I felt like compulsively addicted to in a long time. It's called Audio Shield. Um, and it's a little rough in terms of polish. Like it's clear that they're going to be working on it, but man, that is a fun game. I feel like it's sort of going to steal. That might be kind of loud. I feel like it's going to steal Guitar Hero on the Rift's thunder. Okay, blowing up a dam here. Okay. Mission variable change detected in Behemoth Lake. Come on. So it looks like that all went through. Going way over here. Now let's see if the river height is set correctly. Okay, the river height is still set to 5. So that's incorrect. You appear to be disabled due to distance, but that's okay. We can still find you here. There you are, Behemoth Lake. All weak points are destroyed, demolishing structure, mission variable change detected in Behemoth Lake. La-di-da, la-di-da. Yes, we know shader wants normals, or tangents, or whatever. Okay. If mission's get variable value, mission name variable name is greater than 0, set flooded to false. So let's look at the water levels here. Water level normal, river water level normal. So if it determined that flooded was false, it should have set it to 0. Frustrating. Yeah, and the lake water level is still set to high too, even though we can't see it. Okay. So that means that it must mean that when we're getting the variable value, it's not returning the result we expect. So that could mean a couple of different things. Could mean that we're spelling this wrong. Let's look at the demolition controller and check just to make sure. Oh. Great. I have a Google Cardboard. Okay. The consumer editions are still out of my budget, and I'm not working at VR Games to get a dev kit. Yeah, they're pricey. They're pricey. I'm really looking forward to the next generation or two when the prices drop. I'm actually looking forward to PSVR more than I thought I would for that reason, because it's going to be a little cheaper, and I think more people are going to be able to use it. You know, it's not as cool. I'm not a huge fan of the as they expected. That's been frustrating for me as a developer because I want people to be able to play Euclidean, but they can't. You know, you put all this work into getting it on the store and getting it released on time, and then nobody's. You know that the launch has been a total disaster, and that nobody's getting theirs as quickly as they expected. That's been frustrating for me as a developer because I want people to be able to play Euclidean, but they can't. You know, you put all this work into getting it on the store and getting it released on time, and then nobody is able to play it. Really frustrating. Okay, so I'm gonna check and make sure that I'm using the correctly spelled successfully blew up dam. Okay, that's getting set correctly. Now let's make sure I have it correct here. Successfully blew up dam. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'll add some debugs. Oh my god, come on. I'm just gonna track what's going on here. Okay. And here, I'll get the variable value first, and then we'll check. Okay, now I suppose it's possible that on the water spider dam where the variable value on success is 1. So I don't know. I'll check to see what we're setting the variable value to. Change variable value. Oh, interesting. What kind of value are we we're setting it to increment. Well, that should work fine because the value starts at 0 by default, and if we're incrementing it. Okay. This way we should be able to track exactly what's going on. To enum, what? By type, change type to string. Okay, and this returns a bool based on whether or not it's found, correct? Yes. So if that goes wrong, we'll know there as well. Okay, that should be more than enough information to tell us what's going on. Save, save, save. Wait to compile. Pray it doesn't crash. Don't save, we didn't make any changes. Yeah, I'm going to be applying for a PSVR dev kit pretty soon here. We think Euclidean could do well on the PlayStation. I'm not as sure about Felt Tip Circus. I'd have to try it first to know, but that would be nice. They do have the hand controller, so that's something, but in Felt Tip Circus, you need pretty fine control with your hands in order to play the games, and yeah, I'll just have to see. I recall watching a demo of a gun battle on the PSVR where the hand controller seemed pretty, they were pretty on point. They were tracking well, and people were able to load clips into the gun and stuff like that. So it can't be too rough. But the game I'm thinking of specifically is the balancing game, where you're balancing gumballs on an upended Parcheesi, one of those little wooden Parcheesi board pieces, and you really need to have perfect tracking. Otherwise, it's incredibly frustrating. So that might be strictly a touch and Vive game only. I've even considered porting Euclidean over to the Gear VR because it's pretty simple graphically, especially if you turn off the image effects, but I haven't been able to find time to do that. Maintaining all these builds, by the way, is very difficult, even more so than I expected, and I expected it to be tough. It got really hairy when I basically had to branch it in order to support Oculus's changes, because they wanted specific changes to the game concerning the interface. They wanted the game to specify when you were exiting to Oculus Home or not, and stuff like that. Okay. Mission variable, Behemoth, Engineer, Trigger, Fuse, 1. Let's see what happens. Variable value is greater than 0, setting to unflooded. Okay. So we set to unflooded just fine, and then it didn't work. So that's good news. The bug is downstream from that problem, pun intended. I'm gonna get rid of these. And I'll get rid of this, since that's a big ugly debug. And then I'll get rid of this. Okay. And we know this got set fine, so I'll get rid of that as well. Alright, so it's got to be in Behemoth Lake. We're setting flooded to false, and it's not having the effect that we want. We could check if the world item group is null. Seems unlikely. Okay, if the river is null, we're just going to keep getting the river. If flooded, yada yada yada. Otherwise, we're setting normal. And we're setting the target level, river water level normal, river end water level normal. Okay. So it's entirely possible, actually, that this problem is in the river again, which would be interesting. While that's compiling, let me load up the river avatar script. Uh-oh. Oh dear. I've done it now. What did I do? 96? What is going on? Sometimes those collapsible things are so buggy. Oh, I see. Well, that was simple enough. Okay. Here we need an extra parentheses. Good, we're fine. We're fine, now compile. Okay. River avatar. Let's see what could prevent us from setting our target water level. Okay, in update, if we're not in dynamic mode, that would be one thing. We can check that easily. If our target water level does not equal our current water, you remember this, then we need to change that. And yeah, if you'll recall, the last time we had this problem of the water level not rising, it turned out to be a bug in our flags check chunk mode function, which was kind of hilarious. I'm going to turn that on again. We pretty much know that's not the problem because the river is now rising, but I've been overconfident and incorrect before, so now I'm gonna get a lot of log spam here if I do this. Let me look up what the actual name of the river is, and I'll have it only report when that particular river is changing. Did I load the wrong one? Yes, I did. Okay, Black Lake River. That's the exact spelling we want. Okay, that'll save us from having log spam from every river currently loaded. Okay, we'll save that. Compile again. Compile, compile, compile. FPS Commando HD, good to see you. Yes, I am using Unity. And hello, Deviate Fish. Is Hover Junkers on PSVR? That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, it isn't now, but I don't know if they're planning to port it over. Hover Junkers requires pretty fine-tuned firing. But again, I saw that demo where you know, you're in a shooting range, ducking behind counters and stuff. So despite what they say about the controllers not having as good tracking as something like the Vive, it might be good enough for shooting. Yeah, I'm really curious to see if they port it over. I hadn't considered it until now. Wow, this looks really good. Thank you. Check out a Let's Play or something where they're playing with it on high detail levels. I've got all the texture detail turned way down right now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the next time we blow it up, we'll check. We'll check that it's setting it to the correct target water level, and then we'll find out. We'll find out if it's the river's problem. Do I enable or disable the river at any point? I forget. Oh, crap. No, 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 go away. I enable and disable the master spline, but that's not the same thing. Okay. Hello, Behemoth. Oops. Uh-oh. Mission variable Behemoth. Engineer trigger use 1. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Chunk was not primary adjacent immediate returning. What is going on, guys? Not this again. Okay, so those who've been following this dev stream for a while know that we had trouble with this specific function before, preventing the river from updating. What's confusing is that apparently the river is perfectly happy to update on startup. Wait. Yeah, see, it's moving up to its Okay, now it stopped reporting it. Okay, apparently, okay. It's alright, I jumped the gun. Apparently, the chunk simply hadn't loaded and it wasn't a primary or adjacent chunk yet. Eventually it loaded, became primary/adjacent, and then the river did fine. So maybe my problem is that I'm triggering this too soon before the chunk is loaded and it's not having the right effect. I accidentally cleared the log, so let's look in here. All weak points destroyed, demolishing structure. Refreshing mission Behemoth. La-di-da-di-da. Let's find, let's search for the specific string here. Setting normal. If we find this, we don't find that anywhere. Okay. Let's look for this. This is peculiar. The group wasn't null. Were we waiting for the river? We were waiting for the river. For how long, I wonder? How many instances? One match. We were waiting for the river for one frame. Well, that shouldn't have been enough. That's just long enough to get the river. Alright, we're going to try this again. This time I'm going to wait until the chunk is fully loaded, just to make sure that's not the problem. Maybe one of you has an idea. Hey, Polymo, how's it going? Initialize, it wouldn't matter that it's misspelled here. I think I'm spelling it right. It's kind of a funny word, but it looks correct to me. How do you actually spell adjacent? Somebody spell it. Da, 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 da. Well, I guess I shouldn't check messages now, because then you'd all see my messages. Okay, thank you for the update on that. Hey, anti-human. Well, let's find out. It's an enum, so it wouldn't, if I misspelled it in the enum, which is entirely likely, then it wouldn't matter that it's misspelled here. I think I'm spelling it right. It's kind of a funny word, but it looks correct to me. How do you actually spell adjacent? Somebody spell it. I don't want to look it up on dictionary. I mean, it's a moot point because, like I said, it's an enum. So if I misspell it in the enum, misspelling it again elsewhere doesn't matter. But we might as well catalog all the ways that my public school education failed me. Okay, we're waiting for a river avatar. Okay, fully loaded. Here we go. Now, do my eyes deceive me, or is this river water level dropping? No, my eyes deceive me. Okay, let's check you out. Target water level is still 5. So let's look at, we are demolished. All weak points are destroyed. I don't see the lake. Oh, is the problem that the lake isn't active? It might be. That's interesting. What's your status, body of water? Wait, where are you? Okay. World item. You are invisible. You're not unloading or anything. We have the rivers loaded. They're fine, but you'll notice we didn't see any of these. We didn't see any of these called this time. Setting normal. Group was null or waiting for river. So that was stupid of me. I should have commented that. I hate this daisy chain shit. Well, we didn't set it to normal. If we had, we would be seeing that reflected here after the structure is demolished. So we must be setting it to flooded, or not setting it at all. We need to keep this. I just tuned in. What should happen / does not happen? Yeah, I'll give you a recap. Okay, so what we're doing is we're demolishing a dam, and the dam is a structure with a script attached that changes a global mission variable. When that mission variable changes to greater than 0, what's supposed to happen is the lake and the river are supposed to, their water levels are supposed to drop to reflect the fact that the dam has been destroyed and the water can flow out to the sea. We're destroying the dam just fine. We're destroying the dam just fine. The mission variable is getting set, although we're not entirely sure to what. And then at that point, something is breaking down, and the water level isn't getting set to the low water level. So I'm trying to figure out who's responsible for that. It looks like I thought it might be the river avatar, the representation of the river in the world wasn't updating. It looks like that's not the case. It looks like it's doing okay. So the finger's now pointing to the Behemoth Lake script, which is responsible for setting the water level once the mission variable changes. Looks like something is getting screwed up there, and I'm wondering if the variable is not getting set correctly, like it's not getting set to the right value. Yeah. And like I said, I hate daisy chain stuff. This is one object communicating with another object, communicating with a global object, communicating with a local object, communicating with this, with that. It's the worst possible way to do things. But it's what we're stuck with, so I gotta make it work. Hopefully that all made sense. Still got that attached to bomb error, but that's okay. All right, here we set it to flooded, which is expected. Okay, looks like our river is ready. I'll set the mission variable. Okay. Now, what we should see happen, we should see the mission variable change, because this is successfully subscribing to the mission variable change. We'll see what the variable actually is, and then we'll see what it gets set flooded to here, because we'll see it either. No, this will only get called if it's greater than 0. So we want to see setting normal, but we're not going to see that for some reason. My guess is because the variable value is incorrect. So we're demolished. Mission variable value is 1. Okay, so the variable value was greater than 0, which means we call the function set flooded to false. We're not waiting for the river, and we're not waiting for the world admin group to not be null, because otherwise we'd see log spam. So where the hell is this? Where is this? Why aren't we seeing that? No. This doesn't make any sense. Okay, can someone who's watching see? Obviously, there's something happening here, and my logic is broken. Because to me, it seems as though if this is set to 1, and it is, then we should be seeing this debug log. Wait. Aha! I figured it out. This is not a function call. Not a regular function call. This is a coroutine. Problem solved. Yep. I have to start a coroutine. I can't just call the function. Okay. All right, I'm gonna refill my water glass.